Hello.
Howdy.
So we're going to be talking today about body image and learning to love your body, eating disorders, all that sort of jazz.
Which affects everyone. I'm just going to put that out there straight away.
everyone go. It's an ongoing battle,
even if you're a
learning to
model.
love your body. And it's, in a lot of ways, models struggle the most with it because their job is their body and their looks.
And there's that you look at these photos and you go, man, they must be so comfortable in themselves being able to do this. But I'm sure that, I mean, I'm not a model, but I know from what we've spoken about together that there are issues in this industry.
There are. I was just on Instagram yesterday flipping through and I saw one of my model friends posted an old cover photo of her on the cover of Shape magazine, and I went, oh, gorgeous photo, and I liked it and commented saying beautiful, and I didn't read the caption. And then when I read the caption, I went, ooh, I should have read the caption before posting this comment, because she was talking about the fact that when she did this photo shoot, she's a straight size model, so she's very slim. She said, I felt too big for the job. I felt fat, and the whole time I was doing the photo shoot, I was worrying what the people on set were thinking. I was thinking they thought I wasn't as skinny as the other girls they've used, and that at the time she was really struggling with body image.
Was this one of your people? Is this a person from the? No, sorry, I'll cut that out. You said that they were normal size, not plus size, right? Yeah. So
this was a straight size model.
Yeah. And
I worked with her on a set of commercials a few years back, and we've been following each other's work. And she's very slim, she's beautiful, gorgeous, and it was just surprising to read that on the set of this photo shoot she was struggling with body image, and she thought that she was too big to be doing the job.
You look at these photos and just assume that they're loving it and that they're happy with what's coming out and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know, did that photo get retouched at all?
It probably did. I mean, most photos that get used get retouched, and rarely do they not get retouched. But it definitely looked, that's how I remembered her. But
okay, so it wasn't over the top.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't anything noticeable.
Right.
And so I quickly deleted my comment and I rewrote another comment just saying, this year especially, I have struggled with mental illness, and because of it, I've put on about 10 kilos. And I'm already quite curvy. I'm in the curvy category in the modeling industry. So to then put on more weight, I would go to certain jobs this year and I felt like I was too big to be doing them, and I was struggling quite a bit. So I go through phases as well where I am uncomfortable with my body, especially if I'm fluctuating in weight and things like that. So I just wrote to her, saying I totally get you, I've been there as well, especially this year.
And do you find that these issues with body image just stem from your modelling work, or is it a broader... Oh, these birds. Is it
Australian wildlife?
Okay, I'll ask that question again. So do you find that these thoughts, your negative thoughts you're having about your body, stem purely from the modelling, or is it more when you're out and about as well?
What you mean, whether or not I'm on a set of a photo shoot?
Is it just when you're doing your modelling gigs that you're having these thoughts of I'm too large or I'm not the right size, or is it?
No, after I put on a lot of weight this year, it was an ongoing thing. It went for several months where I just felt really uncomfortable. But I suppose even more so when I was doing a modelling job. I went to Milan this year for a job, and I was a lot heavier than the last time I'd worked with these clients, and I just felt like they were all thinking that I was too big, that they noticed and things.
And it's about you're getting in your own mind when you're doing that. It's not necessarily, the reality probably is that they're not even saying anything, but you're thinking that they are, which sort of creates this cycle in your head of, oh, maybe I am too big, what can I do to fix that? And then possibly it affects your work because you're not concentrating on...
I felt like I didn't give that photo shoot 150%, and I thought, oh god, these clients aren't going to book me again. I wasn't as bubbly and onto it and showing all the emotion I did last time. It was more, I felt like I let them down because of it. How
have you been dealing with that? What have you done to help alleviate these periods of doubt with your body image and self-worth?
Well, strangely enough, through photo shoots as well, and exercise too, and trying to eat a little bit better. But I do a lot of photo shoots purely for the love of it, because I love being in front of the camera. And so I did a few shoots where I was 10 kilos heavier than I already was, but in really confident sort of poses, and I would look at the shots and go, I reckon I look awesome here. and that's part of accepting it as well.
And that's your personal validation. It's not other people saying, oh, that photo looks great. It's going, yeah, actually, I do look great. And I'm saying that for myself, not for anyone else's opinion.
Yeah. So I did some shoots where I love the pictures. Maybe I'll put them in. I can show them. Yeah, because I do photo shoots purely for myself. I love the aspect of sharing them as well, but I just love being in front of the camera and just accessing different characters, different emotions, doing strong poses I find always help as well. So I think, doing photo shoots definitely helped. And I have lost about half of the weight now, so I'm feeling a lot better and things. But it's definitely an ongoing battle. But even before I started modeling, I was very conscious of my weight when I was 13, 14, 15. When I was slowly my body was starting to change because of puberty and things like that. At the time, I didn't realize, but looking back, I was definitely struggling with eating disorders. I would have, teeny tiny meals when I was 15, 16. Sometimes I would skip meals altogether. I got down to about 52 kilos when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I'm 75 now. And at my highest, I was 80, and that was this year when I was going through a bad state of depression. So
it's hard, and it's something often. It sounds bleak, but it's not. If you deal with any type of body image issue or mental health issue, you'll often have that recurring multiple times in your life, possibly. But each time it happens, you become stronger because you learn how to deal with it in better ways.
Yeah.
And that's really important because, I mean, even I, the lowly non-model in the car, have struggled with body image for a long time.
What about eating disorders?
Personally, I wouldn't say that I've had an eating disorder. I think I was probably borderline when my anxiety was really bad.
When was this?
Pre-coming out.
So 6 years ago or so.
Yeah. And I was at school, and the whole social situation just kind of makes everything worse, I think, sometimes. But I was in a relationship with someone who'd struggled with an eating disorder for a very long time. And I could see that a lot of decisions they made in their everyday lives were based around
food.
Food, but also making sure that they weren't getting back into those old habits that are probably still at the back of the mind with the eating disorder.
So you mean they were making a conscious effort on a daily basis?
And we'd talk about it, and it was really important that we talked about it. And if they were having a bad day with it, we'd discuss it and see what we could work out to help alleviate these things, because it was unfortunately it was a really bad part of their lives that had affected them quite deeply, and so. Yeah, it was important that we could be open about it, particularly in a trusting relationship like that, and discuss it and try and help alleviate these situations which might prompt a fallback, I guess, into those negative behaviors. And the point I want to make there as well is that this was a guy.
Yeah.
Eating disorders affect guys just like they affect girls.
No, it doesn't get talked about much at all for men either.
Yeah, and I think, I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, but I think there's a lot of attention that goes towards female eating disorders to the detriment of men who have eating disorders. And obviously there's anorexia and bulimia and stuff, but there's also this obsession with leading a healthy lifestyle to the point where you're no longer being healthy. So orthorexia.
So it's an obsession with healthy eating and diet and exercise.
And I'd argue that is quite pervasive in the gay community, because there is this obsession with the perfect physique. And that you won't be accepted without this perfect physique.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain extent that affects most guys probably, just like most girls in some way are affected by some element of society teaching them how to think about food, because we're just surrounded by information about how you have to be healthy and ripped and only eat green things and
all these diets,
exercise 10 times a week, and you're not a good human being if you're eating anything bad. Just eat whatever you want and exercise a bit, and you'll be fine. We're human beings with resilient bodies. The worst thing you can do for yourself actually is stress. That's the worst. That's going to affect your body way worse than eating badly.
Ages you faster and everything. But the fact that it's very interesting that for men, eating disorders and body image rarely gets talked about, especially in comparison to women. And I'm guessing that makes a lot of men feel alone if they're battling something, because they probably feel like they're maybe the only ones,
ashamed,
only man going through it.
I think unfortunately there's probably a lot of shame surrounding these eating disorders in general, but I think it's probably higher for men because it's just not something that we recognize.
Men
as
aren't
something...
supposed to be struggling. Men are supposed to be the ones holding it together.
Particularly with
society.
food. Men are just meant to be able to eat whatever they want and do whatever they want and just live their lives.
But that's not the case.
At the end of the day, we're all a collection of cells up here that just process information, regardless if you're a man or a woman. So these disorders affect everybody. It's doesn't matter what gender you are. And yeah, it's pretty sad that it doesn't get talked about more, I think.
And what do you feel like when you flip through magazines or men's magazines or see advertisements to do with men? What do you feel like when you look at their physiques? Does it affect you?
Yeah, inadequate.
It makes you feel inadequate.
Absolutely.
So it does get
to
you.
It's still, to this day. I don't know. That perfect physique is something that everyone strives for, and I guess I do unrealistically, because that's not how everybody's body works.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does affect me, which is why I tend to avoid looking at those sorts of things. It's an active decision.
Yeah. Do you find that you try and go to the gym just to put on muscle and things like that?
I used to, not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But definitely when I was younger, I was obsessed with the idea of going to the gym to become ripped and attractive. And
not to go to the gym just for the health aspect.
Exactly.
You were going for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Whereas now I'm like, I want to go because I need to do the exercise and it's good for my mind and body. And also there's an added benefit of maybe I'll build a little bit of muscle while I'm doing it.
Yeah, but that's not the reason you're going anymore.
Yeah.
So with body image, we've talked about the struggles we've gone through. What sort of ways do you cope with not falling into those old habits or the feelings of feeling inadequate when you see pictures? How do you cope with that?
I think personally, like we spoke about briefly, I try to avoid anything that might trigger me, I guess, in that I'm not going to go buy a men's health magazine that's full of ripped, tan dudes who just spend 6 hours a day working out. But I also actively make a decision to surround myself by people who are not that body obsessed, if that makes any sense. Because there's a large swathe of the community who are incredibly obsessed with aesthetics and body image. And maybe for some people that's fine and it's not an unhealthy obsession, but I think for me it could be. And so I generally don't want to surround myself with people who are just concentrating on the gym and getting ripped and all that sort of stuff. What about you?
Well, when I was younger, 15, 16, I told you I was very slim at that stage, I would always compare myself to models or, other girls at school that were very skinny. And because I swam a lot, I had a lot of muscle, so my legs were quite muscly. And even when I was 52 kilos at that stage, guys at school would make fun of me saying, oh, your legs are so big and so muscly and this and that. And I guess it took time, and I even, got curvier and curvier. And I just got to the point where I decided to stop comparing myself to those slim girls in magazines or in advertising and the girls at school. And I decided to just say, I'm in a different category. I've got a different body shape and I can't compare. So I just stopped comparing. And the only person, I compare to is myself now.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, don't ever compare yourself to anybody else.
Yeah, because it's physically impossible to be that person.
Even people that are, curvy like you, they're still going to have different body shape from you, and you just cannot compare yourself. And also through modeling, like I said, I do photo shoots for the love of it, and I find that helps a lot. And also being able to get work at the size I am definitely makes me feel
form of validation.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel validated, and the fact that there is work for curvier models and models of different sizes I think is just amazing, and that definitely puts a positive spin on it too. And I guess dancing around my room naked and just loving yourself, you know, whatever makes you feel good, just do that more, and that's helped a lot. And I've gotten to the stage, I think, where I still go through phases, like I did this year, where I'm struggling a little bit, but I've definitely gotten to the stage where I love it and I feel like I can just appreciate my body, and I don't focus so much now on what size I am, and I can focus on things that I love more.
That's great. All right, guys, so there's another video for you.
On body image. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
This is Callum and Stefania signing off.